Man, new dads, new grandpas on the show. This is crazy. It's getting wild over here. We got more babies than Cowboys now, I think is what we got.
Yeah. Babies being born is a crazy thing. I know Bane was talking about it before I talked to him.
Told you.
Whoa. It was nuts.
The whole process is crazy.
Yeah. Whatever you're envisioning, it's that probably plus.
Listen, man, I'm strong. I ain't that strong.
That was going to be like imagine being the one who gives birth.
Oh,
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I will say this. I think it's a good thing that moms can't see the delivery happen. Like you can't, see what's going on. I think that's probably a good thing.
Dude,
I was on the wrong side of that.
Just gonna let you know, we know what's going
I
on.
know you know, but like it's different. It's probably different. Like when you see something happen to somebody else's body, it's got to be different than when it's happening to your own. I'm just saying. I know you know what's happening.
You know,
I get it, but I get it. But it might be good to know.
Hey, did you see your kids be born? Did you see your kids be born?
I saw both of them born. Yeah.
Awesome, right? That's the best damn thing in life, man.
It's incredible. It's incredible. I just remember being in that moment going, oh my gosh, I don't know how this is going to happen. It's just like,
I know.
That's not going to fit.
I was sitting like a catcher going, come on, baby, put it in there. So,
okay, we should start the show.
Yeah, we should go.
Call it. Welcome to Word on the Street today. We're going off the rails today. It's already off the rails. We're going off the rails. I noticed there that we need to get a nickname for Mitch on the intro video. Everybody's got kind of like nicknames there. And Raquel, we got to get you back on the intro video. We need you more often. Good to see you, my friend. So glad that you're back today. Can you hear us? You look great. Can you hear us? I don't know. Am I having the issue or is she?
She
I got you.
Okay. All right. Well, like I said, we're going off the rails today, folks. It's just how it's going to work. So just get ready for the day. Oh, we're switching things up a little bit. Yeah. What's up, Hunter? Good to see you, my friend. Logistics Lounge just celebrated their 1-year anniversary. Congrats to them. Let's go around the room. Coming to us from the hills of Medellin, Colombia. The owner of Savannah, good friend Juan Bain in the house today. I love it. Get him dancing early. You're in Colombia. He's got to know how to dance. It's just the way it works. It's just kind of how it works.
He's Latin. He has to know it. It's in the blood.
That's right. He's got to know how to do it. Coming to us from Jersey, you know him as the Bodacious Cowboy. Everybody, give it up for Jeff Dickinson in the house. Ooh, where's your music, Jeff? I don't even know where it is. There it is. There it is, right there.
There you go. That's good, man. Got a little
Are you going to keep those till October, till Broker Carry Summit? You're just going to keep growing them?
Well, you know what? That's a great question. My wife asked me that as well. I've got to go
to
a beard trimmer. I'm going to get it cut down a little bit because it's going to be down to here by that time, Hey, it's the BCS. I got to look appropriate,
Right. Exactly.
But what's
coming to us from Denver, Colorado, the VP of Operations for Beta Consulting Group. Give it up for the one and only Coleman Ruffin in the house. We're going back to our roots, man. It's lunchtime. That's right. Grab a bite to eat. That's right.
I've been off too much. Sorry. Go to the next person.
Can't even talk. Oh, man. Coming to us from the hills of South Dakota, the one and only Tyler Gilpin in the house today, everybody. Maybe. Oh.
No, then you.
You gotta fix it. It's the intro. Do you know where I got
Yeah.
that one? The Edwin Diaz closer walkout for the
Yes. Oh, that's true. That's true.
Hills.
All right, listen, we'll try it again. All right. Everybody coming to us from the hills of South Dakota, the one and only Tyler Gilpin.
There it is.
There we go.
There it is. The best walk-up song in baseball, that's for sure. Pretty cool. They do the lights now. You know, back when I was growing up and we were playing ball, you couldn't turn the lights off because they wouldn't come back on immediately. You guys remember that?
So you got light
Yeah.
again. Yeah.
Exactly. So could never do that. And now they're just flipping the lights on and off for this guy, just like doing whatever they want. You know, light show, streamers everywhere. It's pretty intense, that's for sure. Back with us from Cleveland, Ohio, the one and only executive director for the TMSA. Give it up for Jennifer Carpus Romaine in the house. Where's your music? There it is. Gosh, nothing's in order. Ah. There it is. Look at the braids. Oh, let's see. What's up with that mug? What's going on? Yep, Halloween. Yep. You know, Morgan's going to be happy that you're already on Halloween kick. She already has her Halloween stuff up as well. She already has all her stuff up. I know.
So Doug won't let me decorate yet, but we've started crafting. So we made.
I knew I liked Doug.
Yeah.
Okay, listen. I didn't know there was a man or a person alive that could keep you from doing what you want to do. What is this? Doug won't let me.
That's
What
true.
is that?
However, I don't know where he puts the Halloween stuff. So I can't.
Fair enough.
But we started crafting. So our first Halloween craft, they're really, if you have like little kids, this is a really simple one. It's just like Elmer's glue, and you make them in shape of ghosts, and you gave them little eyeballs with the googly eyes, and you put some glitter on it, and then you just let them dry, and then you peel them up. They're so cute.
I'm sure we'll see.
Little Wednesday
Yeah, that's
today.
awesome. I'm just kind of shocked that you've got, you're letting Morgan get ahead of you when it comes to
Yeah,
Halloween
I
decorations.
also have like things like we had to get our kid to school, and like there's other things that are happening. We have to build a fence in the backyard. Doug tells me that takes priority over Halloween decorations. I guess like
Again with Doug telling you what to do. I don't know. I don't know where
he's
it's
the
coming
one
from.
who takes all of the stuff and he puts it places, and I don't know where he puts it. And so much of my life is think like Doug and figure out where the stuff goes. But it's never.
It's job
like,
security. It's job security that he's got. He's rolling job security. That's exactly
Yeah,
right.
he's real tall. He's real tall, and he puts.
I was gonna say,
you don't know where it goes.
All right, coming to us from Minneapolis, Minnesota. I think the one and only. What is the word for the hat connoisseur again? The hat salesman. What is it again? Oh, you're muted. Anyway, we're gonna play music. Meshack Weber, everybody, coming from Firebrand.
Good to see you all. Haberdasher is the word. I think.
Haberdasher. That's right, haberdasher.
Yeah.
I clearly did not get that into a sentence like I thought I was going to get into, but that's just the way it goes.
Echo.
We got a little echo again, but that's how it is. Again, we're coming off the rails again. And today we also have with us the one and only Freight Sensei from Boise, Idaho. Scott Watanabe in the house. Ooh, look at that hat. Ooh, that's clean. Is that a Brandon Bills hat? Is that Brandon Bills? Come on. Yep. 20. Yep. Come on. Tyler, let's go. 5, 50, and 100. Come on.
Who did the total last time?
Oh, it is. It's called the Heartbeat brand, and it's a local Idaho company. But see the bill?
Oh, nice.
Man. So
Dude, that hat is slick, man.
Usually-
I like that hat.
Usually if it's locale, then they take a picture from somewhere in the local. So that's like an Idaho paper. How's everybody
Looks
doing?
sharp,
How's
dude.
everybody
Looks good.
doing?
Everybody's good, man. Everybody's good.
That's
Hey, I don't know if you guys
funny,
noticed or not, but we have the most interesting shipper, formerly shipper and freight, now freight broker. He came over to the dark side. I can't believe it. Coming to us from McClay's Logistics, the one and only Tony Darnell in the house today.
I don't know about interesting.
What's up, dude?
How's it going?
This one
Good to
might have
see
a
you.
long intro. We may have to let it play out just a little bit. Good to see you, man. Glad to have you back.
Likewise.
There we go. There it is. There we go. Awesome, man.
Great
Yeah, man,
man.
you made the jump, dude. You're no longer, on a shipper. You used to be at Lippert for a long, long time, and now you're at McClay's Logistics on the brokerage side doing some sales. Dude, that has to be a shock to the system a little bit, right?
Oh yeah, totally not what I expected. Thought I knew every pitch in there because I've gotten them all, but I was wrong.
Welcome.
What's been the biggest surprise making the move? Something you didn't expect. What's been kind of the wildest part of the jump?
So I'm really more of an operations guy, and that's my title. But until we build the office here, I am in sales. So becoming a salesperson has been the biggest shock because I've never done sales at all, ever.
Revenue driver, man. Let's go. Hey, if you need any help, there's plenty of people on this call right here that can help you out.
Yeah, give us a call.
Yeah, I'm not trying to throw shade at any salespeople out there, but in my opinion, some of the best salespeople out there were in operations first because they understand the stuff that goes into it. It's like, oh, I know how to sell this. I know a lot of things that go into it. So you're going to crush it. I got faith.
That's true.
Jeff's already making a deal right now.
Yeah.
And listen, that's true because, when people ask questions, you know the answers for the process and what to expect. Like, that. Most salespeople just make it up because they don't know. They don't get trained on it well enough. They're just making stuff up or, hey, we'll get to that when we get like whatever. You've got all the answers, my friend.
That's why training is important. We actually run them through. We make our people book freight before we get them on the sales.
Yes. Put them in that operation seat for a while.
Yeah.
It's easy to sell if you oversell, right?
Yeah.
Right. If you know how.
It's easy to sell when you
know how the process works.
When you overpromise, it's easy to sell.
You know how your organization works operationally, then they can sell those operations as well. So.
All right, so Tony, you're at McClay's. All right, you're at McClay's. Our good friends over there. Mark LaBrosse, good buddy of mine, Eric Thornton, doing some great stuff up in the Detroit area, and TJ Knutson, who's supposed to be on the show today, but he bailed. He's got to make a sale or something. I don't know what he's doing. But you guys are there together. What's it like working with TJ?
Well, I mean, if you know TJ, what's it like being with TJ? It's like I
know what it's like being with him.
Like a train on fire all the time that you can't look away from. No, I love TJ. It's great. I've learned so much from that guy.
That's a interesting description.
It's like running a business with middle schoolers is what it's got to be like. I mean, there's dad jokes probably flying all over.
Herding cats.
There's probably
he spends a lot of time combing his hair.
We know that's a lie. We know that's not true. And you guys have resurrected. You've resurrected Hold My Beer. We're talking freight, which is basically season 4, year 4, something that came out of the pandemic and still going. And what was the kind of the thought behind that, man? It's great to have you guys back on the air.
Well, I mean, we're missing it a lot, really, and we're getting hit up still by people. We took almost a year off or over a year or something like that. I don't know. And people still kept asking. So we thought, man, what a great time starting a new venture to get back out there and just talk freight again.
Yeah. It's funny. People often talk about how do you keep doing podcasting, how to keep doing it. I get so much out of being on the show. Like, I mean, I would really miss it if we didn't do this type of thing. So I can't imagine you guys taking a year off, what that was like. But we probably get as much joy as anybody that listens to it, and just being a chance to connect and talk and do those kind of things. So it's good to have you back, man. We're actually going to do a double dip today. A couple of us are going to swing over there afterwards and hang out with you, with your audience and your show. So that's going to be fun. Jen and Coleman and I. Ooh, in a line. We're on the line from top to bottom in the middle. The middle row is coming to hold my beer today, which is going to be great. All right, let's talk about what's going on. Listen, some things are shifting in the marketplace. We are maybe seeing the bottom of the market. We're also starting to see some consolidation out there. It's time for our segment today. What's on the Word? Sponsored by our friends over at Green Screens and Highway. Let's dig in. I got this post from Benjamin Gordon on X on Twitter. He talked about how Cheney Brothers is selling the Performance Food Group for $2.1 billion in acquisition. And I've heard some other people. I talked to our good friend Peter Stefanovich over at Left Lane Associates. Says that things are picking up from an M&A strategy. What are we seeing on the ground level from brokerage? Tyler Gilpin, I'm coming to you first, man. What are we seeing out there? Are we at the bottom? We got further to go. What do we got?
Yeah, I mean, what a loaded question, right? In the middle of an election year, you tell me. I'll give anybody the floor. But I mean, we got to be close, right? There's not much room to go down from here. We're seeing the bankruptcies that we've been waiting for. The consolidations, the mergers, the acquisitions. The market's consolidating. The capacity is starting to go where it needed to go. I think that extra COVID money's been washed away. We'll see what happens with demand, but I certainly think that we're pinching capacity back down to where it probably should be.
Well, we've been saying for a couple of months at least, and maybe half a year, we got to be close to the bottom. So I hope we actually are at this point. I don't know that many of us can take it much longer, but it is definitely putting pressure.
on the line,
Yes.
zero, and just teetering there. So I think
right,
we're finally seeing some action.
Right. We're seeing some companies unfortunately close up. We're seeing some consolidation. It's horrible when you see those kind of things, but unfortunately, it has to happen, or else everybody goes down. It's really tough to see that. The whole point of what I'm learning as an entrepreneur, the whole point of business sometimes is just figuring out how to stay on your board until the next wave comes.
Yeah.
And then figuring out how to get yourself in a better financial position so that you're not hanging on to the board, but you're still actually riding it when the bad times come. Like there's a lot to be taken from all that, but it's definitely tough. We're seeing some consolidation. We'll see what happens.
Kyle Taylor yesterday was just posting about he felt that the it's no longer speculation that the market has turned, but there's still some hemorrhaging happening. I suppose a lot of people that are holding out that are probably close to have done a great job getting through this, that are just holding on by their fingernails and are just suddenly gonna implode, right?
Yeah.
Just a little bit more of that we're gonna see, right?
Sad. Yeah, I think you're right about that. Bane, what are you seeing, man? You're talking to people out there in the industry, especially on the trucking side. What are you seeing?
He said shh because he's got a baby.
Oh,
so what we have been
look
seeing
good, look pretty.
Can you guys hear me okay?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but put him in the big screen so we can watch the baby.
What we've been seeing is definitely some capacity that is leaving the market right now. She is so tired right now. and so you're starting to see some conversations around rates, around service, and around the need for the rebalancing. It's still a long ways to go. There's still some market conditions that need to hit, but again, we're seeing all the positive signs, and you're also starting to see checkbooks open up because you're seeing M&A happen. You're seeing some outside investment. You're also seeing some appetite for investment from non-traditional sources, which is, I won't get into all that, but some conversations we've been having with our clients and just I've been having ad hoc, and it's really interesting. I think that people will be excited to see that.
I've never seen Robert Bain so somber and calm, especially when talking about freight. That's wild.
Especially this subject, right?
Yeah, he's just a big softy, everybody. He's just a big softy, you just don't know.
Listen, I may be a teddy bear, just remember there's still a bear in there.
It's interesting, Bain, you're talking about how people are starting to open up their checkbooks. There's a lot of people that have had the money to make decisions, and everybody's heard about it from sales and business owners that people just couldn't pull the trigger, right? They couldn't make the decision, and now people are they can't hold their breath any longer. They got to move. I think there's going to be a lot of just latent kind of potential from all of us, and certainly, I can speak from experience. I'm sure, Trey, you'd say the same thing as well. But there's been some real growth by companies that have been aggressive during the summer, and I think that people are starting to figure that out. And now that we've got a rate change that's going to happen, let's hope for the best.
I think the Canadian possible rail strike that would have happened probably would have changed the market really quick if it didn't get fixed. It would have strained capacity.
Yeah, probably so. I mean, obviously the natural consequences happen, and I think you're right, Mishak. Like people, just can't wait any longer on some of these things. They either have to find some sort of partnership, merger type of thing, sell. I was talking to Peter Stefanovic, and he was talking about how companies are much more willing to sell now than they were, 8-9 months ago. Probably some of them forced, like they have to. Like, I almost have to make an exit of some sort or move on.
I would think more people are willing to buy now too when we're having this conversation, right?
Yeah.
And we're at the very, very end of the line that we're going to call it, and there's a lot of people that are going to have to sell, and that's when you get your best deals if you're a buyer.
Yeah.
I was going to say this theoretically should mimic the stock market, right? Like when everything is down, it's like that's when you make your most money.
Yeah.
So you would assume that now is the time that people are starting to buy a lot more.
Yep.
Yeah, but you got to be in a good position to do that, man. Yeah, exactly.
And you're gonna see a lot of unique financing for those deals too, because you have a lot of banks that haven't called in notes on vehicles because they want to try to get something back, and so that cycle is going to really push like some pennies on the dollar style of deals that people are going to be a little shocked by. But again, you've got the millions and even billions of dollars worth of truck notes that haven't been called in, and at some point, someone needs to get paid.
Right. I was talking to a client today. He's a founder for a tech startup, and he's an M&A guy. And he was just telling me about all the deals that he is looking at that he wants to do right now, and like, you know, they're attractive now. Yeah, to Tyler, to your point, they're much more attractive now than they were a year ago at this point.
Can I offer some advice?
Yeah.
If there's anybody out there contemplating, this is the market, man. Get into sales now. The worst possible time, but do it.
True.
Well, we talked about this before, and I know, Scott, you're a pretty firm believer of this. Is if somebody can succeed in sales right now in those harder times, and you can train them in that, like, that is the person that's you want, as opposed to somebody that joins the market where it's you pick up the phone and every time it's a sale. Like, obviously, I hope it's as easy as that for you, but like, again, you get through this.
Well,
you get through almost anything.
To your point, the people that came in 2022 and sold like crazy, then the market turned. They just weren't ready for it. They didn't know how to handle it. They didn't know how to hear no, because everything was pretty much a yes or soon type of a thing.
Like what we hear, and just there's so many newer salespeople who came into the market when everything was high. And now this is where you learn how to be a good salesperson and to get through hard times and to learn how to adapt and to move on and to change and to understand your value props and all those things. So
it's the evolution, right, Jessica, Jennifer, of the salesperson to the sales professional. It's a huge difference.
Wow.
See, he's profound even with the baby.
I was going to say, yeah. Quote it. We should just end the show now. Just make that the poster of everything.
Great show.
We're out.
But this is
might be the best moment of the show so far. Yeah, Scott.
This is where the resilient sales professionals strive, right? They've been grinding, the ones that actually listened to the ones around them, listened to the vets that have been here doing them 5 to 10 years. This is not their first down. This down market has lasted a little longer than traditional, but if they've listened to the individuals that mentored them, they've listened to their trainers, they've listened, and they created that resiliency and just kept on the grind. These are the conversations that are going to start cultivating and start growing, because they're still on it. They're still doing what they need to do every day, every week, every month. And so when those conversations start coming up and those salespeople start opening up, these transportation managers start actually picking up the phone and answering, you are the one that have been being the squeaky wheel. You are going to get the oil.
I must be a good punishment, man, because I was in as a shipper. That whole upswing, that was our low time. We hated that. We were struggling with that. Now I'm on the low swing on the other side.
Amen.
Your timing is terrible.
No, it couldn't be better. There's providence in timing, and I love it.
Yeah, Tyler, what do you got?
Oh, I was just going to say, Scott, as a trainer, you got, obviously there was plenty of salespeople in the market when things were going crazy. And a lot of people did join this industry in that late 2022 and then, got decimated thereafter. We've been we as a collective industry have been saying, like, if we promise it'll come out, it always does, our average 18 months, like, what strategies do people or what are people doing? Like, I promise it's coming at this point, like, we're almost here, but some of those new people aren't going to buy that. They've heard
they haven't, and it's unfortunate. That's where you'll see the turnover is because of the lack of faith. But when you have to keep feeding their strengths, it's like you are where you are because we hired you. You need to. I promise you, this is going to work out. If you just keep practicing those minimum habits and behaviors, this will turn for you. It's turned for me. It's turned for this guy. It's turned for this guy. Look at the sales board. It's going to happen, but you just have to believe in yourself. You can't start setting bad habits for yourself. You can't start going down on a path. You got to maintain and grain.
And Scott, it's a good learning opportunity too, because you can then show them these are the signs that you need to look for in any cycle that are going to point towards an upward or a downward, so that you, as a sales professional, you can prepare for these things. So it's not just it's going to get better. Like, no, like these are the things that are happening that make it better.
Well, you certainly learned about rebuttals the last 2 years. You're an expert in rebuttals.
Found some new ones. You get new rebuttals every year too. Like,
my good friend JD Gravina, who's the head women's basketball coach at Western Illinois University, he says that success is the product of proper expectations. And when you think about like the salespeople that came in 2022, their expectation versus reality and versus normal, it had to be so difficult, and you just think about like, I'm almost wondering, you have a successful 2022, beginning of 2023, you start job hopping at this point, and your expectations of what you should make are probably astronomical, right? And it's going to come back down, and that's going to be hard too. I think people are going to turn over. People that were making $150,000, $200,000 in their first 2 years of sales, which is nuts, are going to expect that. And, to go back and, sell for 80,000, 90,000, it's going to feel weird. 50,000, maybe 60, whatever it is. Like it's going to be difficult. I just imagine that people's expectations are wrong. And that's going to be an expectation to carry for a while, not just in this field, but anywhere. This is why we see people asking for these crazy salaries, that they want to have right out the gate. It's like, man, that's not realistic,
We had to implement a lot of financial health awareness with our groups because we've seen the ups and downs, right? We've been in it long enough. We're like, hey, if you're joining us in an up and you're about to make a ton of money, but like that does not mean it's jet skis and boats and 3 cars. Like we gotta prepare.
G-Wagon.
Tyler, I'd like to be in one of your sessions with financial health seminars with your people. I think that'd be so awesome to hear.
But both of my people that do it, you can probably name them. So
you bring pizza to those too?
Hey, you know what? When it comes to salaries and commission, I've always said this, and I'll continue saying this. Damn, if you're so good at sales, why do you need a salary? You can no stealing.
Or that big of a salary. Not big of a salary.
I'm just saying, if you're good at it, well, prove it. Put your mouth where your words are, man.
Well, see, I'll tell you what, this is where expectations matter, because like right now, the market being so tough, it's almost like the new sales reps are doing door-to-door sales. It's that hard. Like door-to-door sales is hard. 100% commission. Okay. You only eat what you kill type thing. And I just remember my first professional sales job after door-to-door, I got paid $36,000 for a base salary, which was more than I made selling door to door in a year. Right. So before I even sold anything, I had, my finances covered. But as I got better, I realized that ended up my third year of that company, that $36,000 represented about 30% of my income, which was really healthy. We were selling a lot. I was making a lot of commission. I was making good money, but that base was just a small portion. But, if people expect to make 70 and they don't think they can sell, they want a base of 50, 60, 70,000 bucks. If they expect to make 70 and they know they can sell, they'll take 30,000 if they know they can, if the product's good. But the expectation is real. I came from zero base. So a $36,000 base, I'm like, dang, I'm good. Like now it really freed me up. And then of course just had a good run. So I think expectations again changed the whole game on this thing,
Yeah, and I think part of that has to do a lot with the big tech boom that we experienced too, because especially when I was in the recruiting seat, right, talking with some people that were a little bit more tech focused, then getting injected into the supply chain space. And right, I am not here saying, hey, this person doesn't deserve that base, right? Like if you bring in that much money, like, hey, and a company's willing to pay you that and you think you're worth that, 100%. But I was talking with some salespeople that were 200, 250 base. Yeah. And then earning additional commissions on top of that. And I'm like, coming from, again, not trying to throw shade at Robinson, but when I started, again, it was a 42,000, I think, base for a sales role. And I was like, man, things have changed a lot. Like people were demanding that. And again, it wasn't like they had a ton of experience, but it's just like, to your point, the expectations across the board.
Yeah. And kudos to them for being able to negotiate that. Call out to all the leaders out there. When someone comes in and says, hey, I've got this book of business, like, hey, we all know the non-competes and all that fun stuff, but let's say they can actually do it. Cool. Just like you would give a new employee a 30, 60, 90, and 180-day plan, they need to do the same thing for you. How is this going to work? We know, like, hey, like you're not going to land every single customer right away. We understand that. Like, we need to really look at this because that type of investment in someone can be worth it. You're right, Coleman. But also, again, sales leaders, take a look at this. Look at what Jeff is talking about. To start, somebody needs a base salary. I'm sorry. Like you get something to start as you get kind of ramped up. Sunset it. If you're a good salesperson, you don't care that it sunsets.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's so much truth about that. And I think
especially if you offer.
Go ahead, Scott. Sorry. Go for it.
Especially if you don't offer like that. I mean, I don't know why anybody would nowadays. But it's like if you tell people the sky is the limit, that should be like an opener. If they're a true salesman and I hear that, oh yeah, I don't care. I'm like, let's go. Thank you for giving me something to get 90 days off of a good start. But if I know if I'm going back into sales position, I don't care what my base is, because I know I can sell better than half the people on the sales floor right now. I can tell them that right now, and they know that because I can walk by, I can pick up a phone.
Scott, we want to see it, man. We want to see it. Go get in the seat right now, Scott. Let's go. Pick up the phone. Let's see it.
To the customer right now.
Okay, what's your number, buddy?
No, it's so true. But I think about this too. Salespeople need to also understand the economics. I love this, Tyler. Like the financial health and well-being. A salesperson's job is not just to cover their own salary. Their job is to cover everyone's salary. I mean, that's what they're there to do, is to drive.
The job is to do well enough that you don't give a shit what the number on the salary is, right?
Yes.
I mean,
that's right.
That's every sales job on earth. It's not just freight sales. It's not carriers.
Clip that for later. Someone do that. Clip that for later. I'm gonna share that out everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, it's huge. And so if you ask for a $250,000 base, okay, you better be making so much that 250 doesn't matter.
Here's how boring base salaries are. This is how boring base salaries are.
Like that's the whole thing. Is like, I think that you have to have, and I'm on the camp of what Bain said. Like, I personally think that all salespeople need a base salary and should have a base salary. Now, if you get to the point where it's okay, now you're making so much, get rid of it. It doesn't even matter. But for those, like everybody was just saying, if you're demanding that much of a base, like, you better put your money where your mouth is, and you better start
be good at it
a lot for the company. Yeah, you better be damn good.
Yeah, because runway on a $250,000 salesperson is like 30 days, 60 days.
Yeah,
if you ain't showing results fast, you out.
Yeah.
That's good. But I think a lot of people will negotiate an increment because of, or they should do an incremental salary, even if it's, your 30, 60, 90 days, because of tax purposes, right? It's like you get taxed a lot more on commission than you do on a base. And that's why people are coming in asking for a lot more, because it's like, well, I don't want to get taxed this much with commission. It's like, okay, well, let's set up a plan, because, then what happens when you have a 21, 22, you make all this money, then you request an increase, and then you're garbage, and then you're not putting out productivity. Okay, well, you're not producing what you said you were going to produce. Continue long run. We're going to have a conversation you don't want to have.
Yeah.
I'm afraid that.
Go ahead, Tyler.
I was gonna say, I saw a cool one the other day, and I don't know if this is standard across sales positions. I've never actually been salaried sales or the commission sales like that, but it was 66% of your 3-year average look back is what your base was, and you had to make it. It was more of a draw than it was a base, but they threw it in on a weekly basis, so that for tax purposes, you were still likely to hit those numbers and make a bonus on top of it, but you weren't just paying commission taxes the entire time.
Yeah, that's interesting. So you have to have history, obviously, to do that, but they look back and say, okay, this is what you've done. We'll just make that base and just adjust it year over year based on
for your tenured employees. Yeah,
right. Yeah,
that's good.
But here's what I'm afraid is happening, and it's probably going to happen a little bit more. Is I'm afraid that these salespeople that came in 2022 are going to job hop for a little bit longer and take those high salaries for 3 to 6 months. Doesn't work out, then they proactively move somewhere else and demand a similar type of salary and just keep floating on that salary as long as they can. And that just makes sales professionals look bad.
But you know what, Trey, to your point, for a salary job outside of commissions, a lot of these kids that are coming in, they're not waiting a whole year to get their bonus. It's like, screw this, I'm out in 3 months and I'll ask for a $10,000 raise, and they probably will get it. You see that. That's why there's so much motion out there, job hopping from one to the other, because the kids out there today are not willing or not being loyal to a company to wait that long to get a bonus. They'll do it on their own and just go.
So with that being said, I think that's a super interesting point, because and especially over the last couple of years, right? I think, Jeff, you're 100% right. You see a younger, quote unquote, generation job hopping every 6 months to a year and a half. But that's because those companies are paying them more, right? And you're right, them not being loyal to a company, but it's also the company not being loyal to them, right? If you don't recognize, hey, this is somebody that's good at what they do, they're going to go out and just get a higher raise, which I can't fault somebody if they want to go out and job hop every 18 months and they're getting a 10% raise every time. like shit, you hustled, you did it, like good for you. Like I have a different opinion on that. Like I do value the loyalty side of things, but I also feel like every company that I've worked with has generally valued the employees well, with the exception of maybe the first one that I worked at. But again,
Coleman, you know what? It comes down to the person who took the job and poor negotiation skills, because they could have went in there and just held
let me
saying, hey,
let me say something along those lines, Jeff. Let me just say this. All right, I never used a recruiter. Well, okay, let me back that up. I had a recruiter to get my first job at DAT. I was from door to sales to that, but then I never had a relationship with a recruiter. And I'm just going to tell you guys out there right now, I left so much money on the table because I negotiated myself. I didn't know what I was doing. Man, like having a good recruiter out there, and there's some really good ones out there in our space. Like work with a recruiter that can help you navigate, who has job opportunities that really fit with who you are, can help you negotiate salary, negotiate some of the details, all that kind of stuff. I left so much money on the table. It is unfortunate.
I was just going to add
three names need to be in every logistics person's phone: Waysome, Brenner Suga, and Charlie Safro. If you don't have those names,
and there's others that I would add too. The guys at Armada, Blake Collins and John Lincoln, should add them as well. They're phenomenal.
And everybody at Journey. Will Will
and anybody he knows. Will and anybody knows.
It's interesting. We're talking about kind of this younger generation and some great advice here. I think the one thing to always keep in mind is that this is just classic extended bubble behavior, where there's just a lot of uncertainty and the young generation just learns very quickly about what the immediate result is and immediate tactics are. And that is obviously just jump all over the place. But a lot of us on the call have been part of a previous kind of series where a series of business kind of decisions where it wasn't quite as bubble, even though it still probably was for a long time now. And I think that this is going to shift now. These younger people, they are going to learn the hard way. That's good. That's no way to run long term. Short term, when stuff is hot and basically all sins can be forgiven by profits, you can get away with this stuff. But this is a great correction, and it seems like human nature needs to go through these cycles where we just do really dumb things for a while, then learn, then do dumb things for a while, then learn.
All done them.
Yeah, what is this the saying? I forgot who said it, but it's just like, America's great, basically, and I'm paraphrasing here, because they do all of the wrong things first, and then they figure out how to do the right thing. It's like capitalism is kind of similar.
That's a good point. We definitely go through cycles, that's for sure.
Just remember, dumb things are also fun things.
Can confirm.
They can be.
Some dumb things are also fun things. Let's put a some in front of it. Not all. Not all, that's for sure.
I've done a lot of dumb stuff, and I'm kind of an expert here, so I got to speak up. And it's not all fun.
Well, the result might not always be fun, but the process might be pretty fun.
The learning experience is the best on that, though.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. That's right.
Like JPP probably loved blowing up fireworks. Probably didn't like the results quite as much.
Probably not. Hey, we got a couple other news stories to share with you real quick. Estes acquired 7 lease terminals from Yellow. That stuff is still happening. I bet they got a good deal for those in this marketplace. So seeing a little bit of that acquisition, which I'm curious if Yellow held on to them and leased them out, thinking that maybe they could get more for them. But maybe I feel like the market has to have gone down for that in the last 6 months. So I bet they probably got a pretty good deal in that regard. This is interesting. A man this is weird. His wife passed away from an allergy when they went to Disney.
He passed away.
Oh my God, no.
Oh, he passed away.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, my bad.
Yeah.
So this guy passed away from an allergy at Disney, and Disney says that their terms of service in the app that the guy downloaded and agreed to shields him from the lawsuit because it was in their terms.
They threw that out. They threw it out yesterday.
Did they? Threw it out? Yeah.
Yeah. So they're gonna go through with the lawsuit. They threw out the argument.
Did they? So that didn't happen. Okay, good.
Oh, okay. That's I was gonna say we need Leffner here. Like that's ridiculous.
I know. Maybe think about having Matt on the show last week. I would love to have heard his take on that last week to do that. But it makes me think about how crazy is it that whenever we have something new, we just accept the terms and conditions.
Like, look at the back of your Ticketmaster ticket. It's basically, death, dismemberment, all of that stuff's in there.
Right.
And you don't even sign it. You just bought it, and by using it, you've agreed to it.
Yeah.
Right.
There's an episode of
hours and days to read the damn thing. I mean, it's pages and pages and pages.
Yeah.
Like, who's going to read this stuff?
I know.
I typically skim it at least.
Really?
I never just sign it or hit the button. I always
You
at
always-
least look at it.
What are you looking for?
US
Something of the
government does the
buzzwords that
same
you're
thing
looking
with
for?
us.
I
do
do.
you
I
feel
will
better?
search like death, see what's around there, and I will look depending on how long the terms and conditions are.
Now, this could be a good use of AI. I'd love for it to summarize these terms and conditions. Is there anything that I should be concerned about as a consumer? I wonder if AI could do that. Now, that would be
Yeah, but like
Yeah.
refund policy, death, like
Does it ever deter you from accepting?
rarely.
Have you ever had one
Sometimes
been
I'll
like,
ask
no?
questions, but
No?
for the most part, no. I mean,
You're the
because,
responsible one,
I
I
mean,
guess.
that's the thing. You have to sign it if you want to do the thing.
Right.
So you
There's
just
no- there's-
outweigh.
You can't
Yeah.
negotiate
But
with
I at least
Ticketmaster.
like to know what I'm getting into.
I would love somebody to run a test and red pen the back of a Ticketmaster terms and conditions and say, please accept the end button.
Yeah, I ran this by my lawyer. Can you actually change this for me?
That's right. That's right.
Redline it. Redline it.
Yeah.
We need Matt Leffler for that. That's for sure. Robert, what did you say to Coleman that he's talking? I think I missed it. What did you say early on? Do you remember?
So no,
South Park
there
episode.
there was a South Park episode where it was making fun of the Apple terms and conditions. Where I don't remember all the skits in it, but basically it was like they came to their house. Somebody paid their bill like 2 days late, and Apple like took their house and destroyed it. Like, oh yeah, it's the T's and C's. You can't do anything about it.
Can we just say that the trifecta of The Simpsons, Family Guy, and South Park covers all of humanity, all cultural issues? I mean,
Gold.
I don't think you need anything else.
Family Guy's No Holds Barred, Simpsons predicts the future, and then South Park does commentary on the front.
If you want somebody to learn about American culture, you should have them watch those 3 shows.
And Idiocracy. Put Idiocracy in there, unfortunately.
Oh, did you guys see Lizzo reacting to her own South Park episode?
Yes. Oh, I did not see that.
Oh, that's fun. That was great.
Oh man. Oh goodness.
She's like,
All right.
Oh, she's mentioned on South Park, and she's just terrorized.
Everybody's
All right,
catching craze.
We got to throw this in there real quick. We got to go throw this in. So we had last night was the last night of the Democratic National Convention. We had the Republican National Convention 4 weeks ago. Got the election coming up. I think that plays a part in people saying yes, people saying no, kind of holding back until till time comes around. But I'm really curious to hear about this. And Meshach, I'm going to turn to you on this one. Okay, how did you feel? You know Dean Phillips. You've worked with Dean Phillips. How does this whole thing feel in terms of how the DNC thing played out with Kamala? Knowing Dean Phillips, he competed. He actually got votes.
Mm-hmm.
Like how does that work out in that regard?
Well,
how does he feel? You talk to him?
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, I mean, just with working him for a long time, or knowing him for a long time, working with him for a while, there's a few main challenges we have, and they're kind of create this kind of, some of the entrenchment that we see, or the lack of opacity, or whatever a lot of people complain about, both sides of the aisle. A lot of it has to do with money in politics. A lot of it, he would say, has to do with the structure of DC. He says, basically working in all these businesses for so long, it's really important to build an infrastructure, a physical infrastructure that creates teamwork, collaboration, and it's actually built otherwise. And he was saying that when he went in as a freshman, he realized that it was kind of like the division and kind of the protection kind of to the system is kind of built into your indoctrination. And there are people like him and other organizations that he belonged to, and people that he reaches across the aisle, or has reached across the aisle, that actively kind of work against that. But it's a big system, and at the same time, I kind of have one foot in each side. My conservative side of my heart says we really shouldn't have pure democracy. We need representative democracy, but at the same time, once it gets really wrapped up in money and politics, and kind of people being able to get all this power by getting out of politics and going into lobbying and whatever, it just gets really, really challenging to move the system, or to have a voice. I don't know if that answers your question, but from a very high level, I think a lot of problems are boiling down to anything. He says, whatever you want to change, make number 2 money in politics. You can get money in politics addressed. Whatever you want to change in number 2 that isn't changing will change.
Bane for president. Bane, who's your running mate, my friend? Who you picking to run with you?
Maybe.
Ooh, that's a good question.
She's laying on his chest right there. Laying on his chest.
It would be me and probably my coach Sean, because that way, if anybody tries to assassinate me, they got an ex-felon who's coming in. So, he's the last guy they want running the country. So.
Smart.
Well, I'll say this, man. I feel bad for Dean. Him and Bernie need to start a podcast together and talk about this, because Bernie threw a little shade at the Democrats at the DNC. And how
really?
talked
Did he?
about that.
Bernie's a coward. He sold his soul for a book deal.
Well, yes, I agree with that, but he also did say some things that we're talking about the actual like voting process, which I thought was
he's not
ironic.
wrong, but again, he's a coward. He had a chance to stop it, and he didn't.
Well, I mean, what would he do? How would he fight against the machine? I don't know.
Well, again, he could have said, "No, I'm not going to sell this. It's not her time. She didn't win."
Yeah, but could he change it? I mean, could he actually change the result? Certainly, he could take that stand, but it's like
if he goes against Donald Trump in 2016, he wins hands down. Hands down, he wins. The Democrats shot themselves and they put her out. And again, this is nothing against Hillary. This is like, look at the numbers. The numbers were all there. Bernie was going to win that election. He promised to everybody, and people were going to vote for him. And then the young people got very disenchanted with the whole process when they say the guy that we're supporting is clearly in the lead, but we're not going to put him up because it's not his time. Pound sand.
Right. But the point is, what could Bernie have done? The whole system of the DNC primary did not allow, for him to really have a fair shot in that. In the same way that I think Dean Phillips didn't get a fair shot.
Kind of feels like the DNC is just like 2-3 people, or a group of favorites, and then the rest are
just him.
Yeah, isn't that kind of always how it's been though? In our lifetime, it's just kind of. I mean, to some degree,
you have the kingmakers for sure, but you also
Perot didn't do well, and he was a brilliant guy. I don't really remember his politics that much, but he was a smart dude.
Let me just say this: that era of Saturday Night Live was the best in terms of that, because they had Bill
Dana
Clinton,
Carvey.
Dana Carvey knocked those out of the park, and Dennis Miller was good too. I mean, they were all really good. So that whole era, that '92 election with Bush Senior and Perot and Clinton, that was like pure comic gold. I mean, that was just so good about that.
I think that's my cue to get out of here, guys. So,
I personally think we instead of looking up at leadership, we need to look at ourselves and become more of a manageable, governable people, because you walk around, everybody gets along pretty well. People care about each other. People are nice, and you go, into politics, and it seems insane.
I agree with that. Everybody should take accountability and raise their game. Everybody, that would do wonders for our country, 100%. Mm-hmm. But you also have people making decisions at the top that we have no control over. The money we've spent, and sent to foreign countries, and some of the things that we do, that's it's not in our best interest. A lot of it, some of it maybe, but not a lot of it. And we have no accountability for where it went, what happened to it. And money gets lost. I mean, things just get lost. There's people at the top making choices that we can't control at all, and that's a bothersome thing when it's we're supposed to be the ones, this is the government, for the people, by the people, of the people, got their order wrong. But you know what I'm saying? We don't really have those controls. So yeah, I can definitely control myself. You can control yourself. We can all get better. We can all pursue excellence. Those are all great things. But the system, man, the way we're sending money places and how we're doing things, that feels like it's a losing battle that we can't ever get control of again. That's what it feels like.
This is why voting in local elections matters. I typically write myself in on the national stuff because I don't need.
You write in Tony Darnell.
I love Anthony. I had 7 votes last year.
You got 7 votes?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Were any of them non-family votes?
Yeah, I had a couple of
Dude, then you're legit. You're legit.
Yeah.
Presidential contender, man. I love it. It'll be
I'm pretty sure some regular guy would do better than anybody right now.
It feels like it, doesn't it? But man, it's pretty wild.
I want to ask you, Trey, did I answer your question? Because literally, even though I worked on campaigns and such, I don't really get much into politics. The only reason I helped him is because he's the kind of person that I would want to have behind closed doors making the decisions for me.
That's why
I think that's what we need to do. We need to get more people that we know. If we don't know what they did the right thing, and not just the thing that they wanted to do, but something that they just were like, okay, this is a bitter pill, but I'll do it.
Well, that's why I asked you, because I know you know him. Like I gotta feel that, or I gotta believe that it just feels awful to be in his shoes where he wanted to have a legitimate, fair opportunity. He didn't get it. Like that's just gotta feel awful, you know? And I don't know how you beat the system in that situation. Like if it was open, you know, primary either way for anybody, and they won it, forget something. But man, like it's got to just feel like this sucks. And then how do you go along with the party at that point? I don't know. Like that blows my mind in that regard. So what's up, Adam Robinson? Good to see you, my friend. Thanks for joining this show. So here's the question for transportation. I want to ask you guys this: do you think that the election is having a greater impact on spending? Like people hold back because of that, or do you think it's because of pure economic conditions? Like would we be seeing the same thing if it was last year this time? If the conditions were the same, would it be the same without an election versus having one?
I think that the election always has an effect on it. And I think that people are a little bit more reserved in terms of spending, just because I think that's a normal thing with uncertainty that's coming up. They're like, okay, let's just hunker down a little bit. Now, I think that there's also a ton of market things going on from talks about a recession and all that fun stuff. But I think that there is that little bit of additive. I wouldn't say it's 25% adding to the whole cause, but there's for sure aspects of it.
Yeah, I think it's you can't. It just has to happen. I think unfortunately, people are just uncertainty tends to do that. People hold on to things when there's uncertainty. That's for sure. Well, some people do. Some of us are spenders, and we're not very smart. So it happens. It goes that way as well. All right, everybody, we got to play a little game before we get out of here. Jeff, it's time for us to play Hot Takes. All right, we're playing Hot Takes today, and basically, you got to just convince me of your argument when I call out to you. So here we go. We're going to put up a banner with a lighthearted, controversial statement, maybe controversial, maybe not. We'll see, about supply chain, and we're going to see who has the best argument here. And you guys just have to convince me. That's it. And I'm going to give points out today, and they don't matter. So here we go. First one: in the supply chain, the only thing that moves faster than goods is the blame.
God.
Wow. I mean, that's true. Like that's not even a hot take. That's just fact.
That hurt.
Coleman, you got it. So, well, tell me why you believe that. You got to prove it here. What do you mean? I mean,
this is the oldest debate in the book between customer sales and carrier sales within the brokerage space, especially. Like, it's that person's fault. The carrier showed up late. No, it's the customer's fault because they didn't have the appointment set up on time. No, this person didn't check in at the gate. Whatever it is, this is the oldest thing in the book. This isn't even a hot take. This is just facts. Everybody on this call agree.
Do I have somebody who disagrees with this that wants to go the other direction and try to win a point? Anybody want to debate this just to win a point?
Get at me.
No, there's no other point to make.
All right.
Somebody to blame.
When you have a, I was going to try to push,
Let's go, Scott. Come on.
I will say this is that I think good on carriers and brokers alike, but from a brokerage perspective, keeping that blame game in-house instead of letting it leak out to either the carrier or the customer is the key to a good brokerage. So I think the blame game internally is actually a positive thing for a business.
Ooh, Tyler, that's a good point. And actually, you make a good point here. That's true of any business, not just in brokerage.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, it's good in any business to not let that laundry air out. Because it can only hurt things. It actually, to your point, Tyler, it's really good debate to actually talk about who did actually make the mistake, who was at fault. Let's dig in and find out who it was. So
you shouldn't have to do that. You shouldn't have to do that. The person that caused the problem should be man enough to say it's my fault.
It goes back to
most
point.
Can't do that because it's ego driven. They can't say when they're wrong.
And do companies create an environment? Do companies create an environment where people feel free to be able to admit mistakes?
And they should.
Do they have that culture? Very possible. All right. Well, we're going to give the point to Coleman. That was a good point. All right. Nice try, Tyler. Myself as well. I don't think we were convincing. All right. Next one is this. Just like a warehouse, my patience with inventory forecasting is always out of stock. Anybody agree or disagree with this?
Disagree.
Tyson.
Thanks for sharing. That's right.
Just like a warehouse.
Accountability works.
So in my opinion, I mean, I don't even know if this is a hot take. I'm not going to agree or disagree, but I also think in supply chain, that's probably one of the hardest things to do is inventory forecasting. If you're actually like running a warehouse and
No
being
way.
able to
No
predict.
way.
You don't think so?
Ooh.
No.
Ooh,
and
Jeff,
here's
let's
my
hear it.
point. Here's my point. Okay, it's called FMD, forecast monthly demands by client ordering, whatever you call it, processes that you're able to do that. You can look at seasonality, their ups, their downs, and then you can put a buffer in there, a small little buffer to cover the weeks that you're down on it, so you'll never run out of it. Then you have to have replenishment times with little red flags that say you need to order this at a specific time. Then you take in the days of transit, and then you'll know you'll hit it. So you'll always have your inventory there when you need it.
All right. Well,
That's the point.
That
It doesn't make it.
yeah.
That almost
There
took
you go.
Walmart out during COVID.
Tyler, say it again.
That almost took Walmart out during COVID. They had shipments all over the country headed because it was all based on order management. And they were watching SKUs fly off the shelf, toilet paper specifically. So they started sending toilet paper in every truck they could get their hands on, and they were turning them all around because we were a part of it.
Yep. Waste of money.
Money.
All right. Well, we're
Yeah.
sending the point to Jeff. He's got
That was
to
yeah.
All right. Here we go.
Yeah.
Next one. Next hot take. What do we got? Supply chain strategy. If it fits, it ships. If it doesn't fit, it still ships.
We just got to back up the forklift a little bit and get a running start.
In there.
Dude, that oh my god, that reminds me of a story when I was in brokerage and I sent a truck to go pick up. It was like recycled clothing or something like that. It ended up only taking up a quarter of the actual truck. And the client that I was working with was like, well, hey, there's all this extra room. I need to ship my car down to this destination. Like, I'm going to throw that in there. And I'm like, nah, dude, you can't do that. And he's like, why not? Like, I see the truck right here and I have my car. Like, I'm just going to drive in. I'm like, no, you can't do that. And then that was his mentality. He's like, oh, it fits. I'm going to ship it. And I'm like, listen, if that carrier wants to do it and you want to do it, I don't want our hands part of it. We're, not working with that carrier, and then you can have fun with it. But I was like,
so what happened? What happened? Did he ship it?
We decided not to. The carrier was like, I'll do it. So we wiped our hands clean. We're like, all right, we're no longer contracting you. And I never worked with that customer again.
Wow. Jeff.
Yeah.
So I'll take it a different way. When it says supply chain strategy, if it fits, it ships. If it doesn't fit, it still ships. Absolutely, because you got to find the right mode or the equipment so you can get that shipment out. So which way you look at it, it's your requirement as a broker or a service provider to make sure that thing ships. You find the solution. Let's go, guys. Next
I'm giving you both a point for that one. Both of you had nice things to say. You're both getting a point on that. All right. Next one. Maybe the last one. Here's our last one. Last one. Remember when supply chains were supposed to be seamless? Yeah, me neither. Have supply chains ever been great? We should have something make supply chain great again. We should do that. Have supply chains ever been great?
That really get that hat out there.
It's like frictionless e-commerce. There's always something that just the human factor hasn't figured out.
Yeah. Masca. Scott, I know you're trying to write it down to figure out it's Masca.
Mask. Oh, just mask. No, not again. Just like let's make supply chain great.
MSCGA, Masca.
Yo, we're putting a patent on it. It's ours.
No A. We can't put again if it's never been there.
MSCG.
This is a great question for brokers to answer. The question here is, why isn't it seamless, and how can I, as a service provider, help you to make it that way?
Dude, we found the game for Jeff here. I'm just tossing that out there.
Jeff is killing it today. Killing it.
Snip that.
All right. Hey, we got to call it. It's over. Jeff takes it down. Jeff Dickinson with his first win of the season, everybody.
Wow.
Look at that. All right, let's wrap this baby up. We got a few pictures to go out, and we're gonna get out of here. What do we got for this week in pictures? Let's throw it up on the screen. We had a good week. I got to go and be with my daughter last night at rehearsal for Newsies. I don't know if I told you guys that or not, but we're in Newsies. But let's start with Jen. Look at this guy. Oh, look at the haircut. Let's go.
Yeah.
Where's the child?
That is Monroe on his first day of second grade yesterday. And yes, he definitely has frosted tips, bringing in that
Ooh, his girlfriend probably loved it.
Uh-oh.
Guy Fieri, here he comes.
And then we always go to the arcade on his first day of school. And so he was eating.
Oh, that's awesome. That's fun. That's cool. Dude, that hairstyle is dope. You can tell him I said so. That's awesome.
I'll tell him that spiky hair guy approves.
I'm gonna have to do my hair differently and
highlights, or is he naturally blonde?
No, that's legitimately bleached. Like
frosted tips, baby.
Things on his head to.
Did you shoot the bleach on his head like we used to do back in the day? Did you do
no,
that?
I take him. When I'm getting my hair colored, he comes and he gets the same. Like he gets the tinfoil
nice.
in his hair.
Not the old school way of just putting hydrogen peroxide in your hairspray.
Yep. That's what we did.
My cousin.
Halloween.
He wants to be Eminem for Halloween, and he's pretty close to his costume.
There you go.
Nice.
He has a gold chain and like a white shirt, and so I just am gonna put arm tats on him, and then I'm gonna, for his candy bucket, I'm gonna turn it into like mom spaghetti.
Dude, that's awesome. Yes, that's awesome. And to answer your question, Tyson, I did not have frosted tips in college, but I did have the long flowing hair, and I got a picture somewhere. I'll send it to you. I was in the grunge phase of my life. I had to do a little bit of that, so it's gonna work. All right, Coleman.
This is her. That is Sloan. I didn't bring her on because she's sleeping right now, and if I wake her up, I'm not going to sleep for days. So this is her. This is where I've been the last 2 weeks. That's her after a bath, and then us just hanging out outside with our dog. It's been a great time.
So awesome.
Man. Beautiful.
Papa Coleman coming up big.
Yeah.
Coming up big. That's awesome. Love it. Man. We have to get her live on the show because clearly this is now, babies on the street around here is what we got, I guess. Whatever Nate said earlier, that's for sure. All right, and finally, a couple things. First day of school for my girls. Look at that. My youngest is almost as tall as my oldest, and my oldest does not like it. Hannah is not happy about it at all. But they are grown up. That's our backyard there, and they had their first day of school on Wednesday this week. The middle picture is me at rehearsal for Newsies. My daughter on the left there, Naomi, and I both got into Newsies at Missouri Baptist University. That's going to be mid-November. So we get to now rehearse together, which is a blast. Get to do that. It's a lot of fun. Went on a date with my wife and with my mom and dad to Cedar Lake Cellars in the Warrenton area around here. Beautiful area with a nice little lake, white swans everywhere. And then finally, I got to meet with Nate Johnson, the one and only Nate Johnson, who is like 3 times my size. But this is the only way that I can look bigger than him. You got to stand 10 feet in front of him and take a selfie. I was literally 10 feet in front of that guy to make that.
He looks like he's like whispering in your ear, like one of those good tray, bad trays.
Oh man, we had a good time. It was good to see him. I got to see Michael Caney on Wednesday as well. We didn't take a picture, but a lot of good stuff there. Hey, listen, everybody, have a great week. Tune in right now. Hold my beer. We're talking freight. We're switching over there right now. We're heading over there. Tony, get over there, man. You got to post it.
We're
gonna be over there shortly. We'll see you guys soon. Have a great weekend, everybody. Word on the street. Peace out. See you.